The defending champion Los Angeles Lakers, their aspirations to repeat as champions, to go back to back, is really slipping away from them. With Anthony Davis already missing an extended period of time with his calf injury, now LeBron James suffers a high ankle sprain in Saturday night's loss, is out indefinitely for at least 3 to 4 weeks. This opens up an entirely new dynamic for the rest of the NBA. If and when LeBron James and Anthony Davis return from injury, we don't know how they're going to come back. Are they going to be on minute restrictions? Are they going to look like themselves? Where are the Lakers going to be in terms of the Western Conference standings? Are they still going to be a top 8 seed? Are they going to be a bottom 8 seed? We know they're not going to remain at the number 4 seed where they stand right now. There's no way the Lakers are going to be a 4 seed at the end of the season with Anthony Davis and LeBron James missing that much time. So today I want to talk about who has the most pressure given the Lakers stars are out. And this is clear to me. It's Kawhi Leonard, it's George Paul, it's the Los Angeles Clippers. Taking down memory lane, after Kawhi and the Raptors win the NBA championship in 2019, Kawhi wins Finals MVP, bringing the first title ever to Toronto. Via free agency that summer, goes to not the Lakers, going to the Clippers, the team that shares the arena with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Going with them, going against them, and then brings his buddy George Paul to go for the throne of LeBron, to show I'm the best player in the world. And not only that, I'm going to come to your city. I'm going to go to the team that's had no title, has no titles in their career. A sorry franchise, a sorry dysfunctional franchise who's never been to a Western Conference Finals before. I'm going to be the guy who takes that team over the hump. And all year long, after they had title aspirations, they wet the bed. They folded. They folded up 3-1 in the Western Conference semifinals to the Denver Nuggets when LeBron and Anthony Davis were waiting for the date that we've all been waiting for, the Battle of LA. And now, with the Lakers dealing with injuries, not knowing if and when their stars are going to come back, the Clippers are the best team in the Western Conference. I understand their record doesn't show for it, that they are the 3 seed right now, trailing the Jazz and the Suns. But in terms of playoff pedigree and championship pedigree, the Clippers have that. The Jazz do not. The Phoenix Suns do not. Kawhi Leonard's having an MVP caliber season, giving you 26 points a game. George Paul looks like he's having one of the best seasons of his career, if you're going to ask me. Looks like one of the best seasons since his year with teaming with Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City in 2018, where he finished 3rd in MVP. This is a top season for George Paul. But we know once playoff time comes, George Paul folds, which is why I call him George Paul, because that's what he looks like in the playoffs. Now with the Lakers not in the picture, who will have a bottom seed at best towards the playoffs, there's no excuse not to get this done. This is a legacy moment for Kawhi Leonard, if you're going to ask me. This is a legacy moment. He could be the second player in NBA history next to LeBron James, who did it last year, to win 3 finals MVPs with 3 different franchises. But the moral of this, the franchise you play with in the NBA and you winning matters. It does. LeBron James, a 4-time NBA champion, right? 4-time NBA champion. Which one means the most? The one for Cleveland. Why? Because of the city he was playing in. Not only was it his hometown, it was a franchise, a dysfunctional sports franchise in every single sport, whether it's baseball, football. We know how bad the Cleveland Browns have been. And, of course, the NBA. LeBron was the guy to help that team get over the hump and bring the first championship to Cleveland, Ohio in 52 years. The Clippers are a team who's always second fiddle to the Lakers. They play in the quote-unquote the basement. They've never been to a Western Conference Finals when the Lakers are the greatest franchise in the NBA, in NBA history, rather, with 17 banners. The Clippers haven't even made a Western Conference Finals. If Kawhi is the guy to get them over that hump and deliver a title to the Clippers, he could be regarded as a real all-time great in terms of a top 20, in terms of a top 15 player, being a 3-time champion, 3-time Finals MVP. Bring a franchise to 2 franchises who've never had a title before. That's why he has so much pressure on him. In Toronto, he had no expectations to deliver a title. They weren't expected to beat the Warriors. They weren't even expected to beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. In 2020, they had expectations to beat the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals and then win the NBA championship. And then when the expectations were there, he folded and his buddy George Paul folded. Now, this year, there should be more expectations for them to win. With the Lakers not in the picture, and honestly, they got better. They got rid of Doc Rivers, adding Serge Ibaka. If you're going to ask me, the Clippers got better. And now this is the second year where they're playing together. We know in 2020, they didn't have a consistent starting 5 all year long. Guys were in and out of the lineup. This year, they have a more consistent lineup. The Lakers are not going to be as good as they were last year. We don't know how in a year 18, age 36, LeBron James is going to come back from injury. We know what happened when he came back in 2019 when he dealt with the only other injury in his career. He never looked the same. He was awful. Anthony Davis is a guy who's consistently been hurt throughout his career. We don't know if he's going to come back or when he's going to come back and how he is going to come back if he does come back. So with that being said, the Clippers are now the favorites to get out of the Western Conference. And if Kawhi Leonard can be that guy to get a dysfunctional franchise over the hump, that would be a special championship. That would be his greatest accomplishment to date, if you're going to ask me. It matters where you play. It matters what franchise you do it with. Teams who don't have those expectations or franchises who've never been in a winning culture, that changes the dynamic of how we're going to look at an NBA championship and how we're going to look at things down the road, looking at a player's legacy. This is a big deal for Kawhi Leonard. And now with LeBron out, he has to deliver. He has to deliver. He has to get it done. No excuses. He needs to get it done, period. But with that being said, again, like always, I want to thank you for watching my content if you made it far in this video. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram and YouTube at The Falco Takeaway to check out more of my content.